Right, to a big international story, Defence Minister Judith Collins has made a secret visit to Kyiv to witness the impact of Ukraine's war firsthand. It's come as the so-called coalition of the willing met in Paris overnight to agree on a plan for Western allies to support any future peace deal. They've now committed to deploying troops to the war-torn nation the day after a ceasefire deal is agreed. Christopher Luxon joined those discussions remotely overnight. And joining us now, Defence Minister Judith Collins from the UK. Very general description of where you are, Minister. Good morning.
Yes, that's right. Hello, Garth. Lovely to talk to you.
Thank you very much for making some time. You must be pretty exhausted after that trip into and out of a war zone.
Yes, it's about 8:30 at night here, and I've been up since about 1:30 in the morning as we went through border control.
Oh, you look like you're holding up pretty well there. Look, I had a bit of a look at where you went. Can you just describe what it was like being on the ground there for that short time?
So obviously I had some very great, excellent meetings with counterparts and also with the Foreign Minister as well as my defence and counterparts. But seeing people just trying to get along with their lives as they knew that they were likely or could be bombed that night. They had drones, they'd had attacks just before we came, and as we were in the train coming into Kyiv, we were told that there's been some action overnight, so we might have to stop a bit, and all that sort of thing was happening. It was, look at the wall that you've just shown here, this wall of remembrance. These are people who have been killed in this war, and many of them are civilians as well.
Yeah. Now, obviously, there's tremendous symbolism in sending a defence minister into a place like that, like yourself, at this time. But we're hearing just now from the meeting that Emmanuel Macron chaired in the Elysee Palace there's about sort of 26 nations have committed to signing up to putting troops in there. Have you had a chance to have a chat to the Prime Minister and see where things are at?
I have not, and that's simply basically that I have been travelling all day or in meetings, but also obviously any discussions we'd have over matters like that would be very secure, need to be very secure. But the Prime Minister's made it clear that any troops on the ground in terms of the coalition of the willing would need to go through Cabinet, and it hasn't gone through Cabinet. So I can't report on the meeting because I wasn't at it. I had plenty of other meetings I was at instead.
But does what's been agreed and discussed here, and the idea, I think 26 out of the 32 odd nations that were being consulted, there's a couple I think we're hearing, or it's thought in Italy and a couple of others that weren't too keen, but it sounds like the ones in the middle, Germany and so on, seem to have been coming across there with the idea that there would be some sort of commitment. Does that strengthen the case that New Zealand actually should be directly getting involved in a situation like this if there's a peace deal struck to help secure that peace?
Well, these are always matters for Cabinet, and they have to be. You're talking about situations where if people are deployed, every deployment essentially goes through Cabinet or goes through a process that it has to follow our rules. So, look, I'm very much on the side, as is the Prime Minister and this government, of Ukraine. They're a country that like us, that benefit from the rules-based orders and people understanding that they stick in their lanes and stay in their borders. And what we've got instead now is they're under attack, civilians are under attack, and they certainly love the fact that we support them from this part of the world, but also that they have enormous support around the world as actually people who are trying to just have a democracy.